So initially I was thinking of doing some sound examples to help demonstrate the volume topic, but I thought it would just be as easy to discuss it. So the first topic on volume that we'll talk about will be the volume on your guitar. So this is an S-type guitar, and a Squire Strat was the first type of electric guitar that I got. And when I got it, I was definitely still a beginner, so I wasn't necessarily sure what I was supposed to do with the volume and tone knob. But what I did find, and what I've found many other guitar players do, is they just keep their volume on 10, and then also the tone knobs on 10 as well. Now, it's not a steadfast rule that you have to have your volume at 10. You can obviously make the choices for things that you like the sound of. But when you're beginning out, it's definitely really helpful to keep everything at 10 on the guitar, because you're going to get the best representation of what the guitar sounds like, and you're also going to get the best representation of what your amp sounds like. Your amp really likes to be pushed. When your volume is low, your amp is not running the best that it can. When the volume is all the way up on the guitar, it's helping push that amp, and they really like that. And you're going to get a better sound out of your amp, and you're not going to think, oh, geez, my amp sounds really thin and like it doesn't want to work. I probably need to get a new one. It's not the case. You might just need to turn the volume of your guitar up. However, if you do find when you have the volume of your guitar all the way up that it's too loud, don't go to turn the volume down on the guitar. Go adjust the amp instead. Continuing on with amps, we'll talk about the volume of your amp, specifically if you have a multi-channel amp, something with one or two extra overdrive channels along with the clean channel. When you're changing between those, you want to make sure that they're balanced. You don't want to have your clean tone going in the verse of a song and then you're kicking to an overdrive tone in the chorus, and there's nothing there because the clean channel's so loud and then the distorted channel is very quiet. Or the opposite could be the thing. You jump into the chorus and it just blows everybody away. You want to make sure that it's nice and even across the board. And speaking of across the board, that's a great segue into our next topic of pedals and their volume. So we'll start with distortion pedals. This is much like with a multi-channel amp. Maybe you only have a single channel amp and you're using a distortion pedal to get the overdriven sound. You don't want that to, again, be a really drastic volume boost when you're using that. Now, there are boost pedals where the purpose of the pedal is to give you a volume boost, and those are totally great. That's its purpose, because maybe it's for a solo. You want to be heard when you actually have your little solo section. Now, this is something that from amp to amp, you do need to adjust. Pedals aren't always set and forget. So the next few types of pedals isn't necessarily about the volume of the pedal, but actually like the mix between the affected sound and your dry sound. These would be modulation pedals like chorus and flanger, delay pedals, and then reverb pedals. And these are like some of my favorite pedals that I'll always have on a board. Chorus is one of my favorite effects. But when you have the mix too high, it can really just not, it can just make the sound not that great. A light touch of an effect like that really goes a long way. I find this is especially true with delays and reverbs. When the mix is too high on your delay and you've hit your note and that's the 100% volume, and then your delay is almost as loud, unless that is a purposed effect, it's just going to cause a lot of muddiness, especially if you have a lot of feedback on the delay. That's where the repeats go more than once, and they're going on for maybe a few seconds. When you have all of that noise still happening while you're playing, strumming on a chord, it just gets really, really muddy, and nobody can tell what you're doing. This is the same with reverb. So if you're finding that there's something that you're not liking about your tone, it honestly could just be that you need to adjust the volume of all your pedals, all the channels on your amp and on your guitar to get that nice and even across every single piece.